Have you ever looked at plants? I mean, really looked at plants. They make the air that we breathe. They make the delicious foods that we and other animals love to eat. Sometimes animals live in plants, and honestly, they're just really cool to look at. Today, we're gonna dive into the world of plants. We're gonna learn all the different parts of a plant, what they need to grow and survive, and then later on, we're gonna get our hands dirty because we're gonna make some wildflower seed spheres that you can plant in your own neighborhood. Let's go.
Here we go! Wiz Kid, always learning something new. Wiz Kid, you can be a Wiz Kid too.
Hi everyone, I'm here with my friend, Dr. Jen, and she's the assistant professor of horticulture at Colorado State University. And she's going to tell us all about the different parts of plants, the different functions of the plants, and even types of plants that you can take home and take care of yourself.
Thanks, Wiz Kid. So we're going to talk about plants that are just about the foliage or the leaves, plants that are the focus is the flowers, and plants that have the focus as the fruit.
Wow. Can you tell us about the different parts of a plant and what they do?
You bet, Wiz Kid. So we'll start with the bottom, the roots. The roots are the important part inside of the soil, and that's what anchors the plants and moves the water and nutrients up through the plants. The stems are the avenue for that water and nutrients to get up into the leaves. And of course, the leaves is where photosynthesis occurs. So that's where sunlight is used to create energy for the plant. Next is an example, even though this one also has leaves, an example of flowers. So that's where reproduction occurs. We like to see flowers as humans because they're beautiful, but that's where the babies are made for plants. And then finally, here's some fruits. So this is a St. John wort's fruits, very much like the fruits and vegetables you eat. They have seeds inside for reproduction.
Wow, these tiny little fruit look really interesting, but what do they look like on the inside?
Good question, Wiz Kid. We can actually cut them open and see all the little seeds inside. So I'm going to cut it on a diagonal, we call that a cross section, and be able to see all the little tiny seeds right inside. Each one of those could become a plant.
So what if there are other kids out there who are thinking, man, I sure do like plants. What would be some advice that you would give to future or current gardeners? Because you could be a gardener at any age, right?
That's right. So my best advice is to find a plant, get a plant. Maybe it's a succulent in your windowsill, or maybe on your kitchen counter, you have some thyme, an herb, in order to taste the fruits of your labor.
I'm actually thinking one of my favorite foods are tacos. So I think that I could probably grow a cilantro plant right in my kitchen.
You bet.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. I can't wait. I'm going home and I'm gonna grow a cilantro plant for all my tacos. Wow, we learned so much. I really appreciate you coming on to Wiz Kid to talk about plants. This one, though, has to be my favorite. I think it's just so beautiful. I might have to add this one to my collection. Thanks again, Dr. Jen. I really had such a fun time learning about all these different plants, the different parts, the fruit, the flowers, and everything with you today.
My pleasure, Wiz Kid.
Did you know that vanilla comes from a flowering plant called an orchid? Vanilla is the only edible fruit of the orchid family and is used in our favorite desserts, like vanilla ice cream and cookies.
Yummy.
Have you ever wondered what plants need to grow? It's a really interesting process, and you might find that there are some similarities between us humans and plants. So let's take a deeper look into what plants need to grow and survive. Air. Did you know that plants also breathe? No, they don't have lungs like humans, but they do have small openings on their leaves called stomata. Plants take in the air we breathe out, called carbon dioxide, and then they release oxygen, which we breathe in. It's a really cool cycle. Sunshine. Plants love sunlight. Some plants require a lot, while other plants only require a little. Plants use light along with air and water to create their own food through a process called photosynthesis. The food that plants create is called glucose. Water. Like humans, plants need water to survive, but they're not drinking water out of a water bottle. Actually, plants drink water from their roots. Whenever you water plants, or whenever it rains, the plants use their roots to slurp up all the water to stay hydrated. But just keep this in mind. Some plants need quite a bit of water, and some plants don't need as much, like succulents. Soil. Soil comes in all types of colors, textures, and are made of things like tiny rocks, parts of plants, and so much more. So not only do plants use their roots to drink water, they also use their roots to absorb nutrients found within the soil. Did you know that different plants need to live in different types of soil to survive? So next time you're around plants, take a closer look at their soil. And while you're there, observe how much sunlight each plant gets. And then you can try to take a guess at how much water that plant needs.
Did you know plants can grow without soil? That's right. They can grow in water that has nutrients added for them to grow big and healthy. This method is called hydroponics, which you can see on display the next time you visit the greenhouse at CSU Spur.
Hi everyone, I'm here with my friend Candyce, and she's an educator here at CSU Spur. Today she set up a really fun activity. Can you tell us what we're doing today and what we have here?
Yeah, Wiz Kid, I'm excited to be here today. How wonderful. So we're going to show you how to make seed spheres today at CSU Spur. So some of the materials that you need to get started are potting mix, some red clay, and some wildflower seeds or any seeds that you kind of want to grow. And then you'll need some handy dandy water because water is needed for plants, and then a couple of bowls, and then the best utensil of all, your hands.
So you said this is potting mix, right? Can you tell me what's inside potting mix?
Potting mixes come in a lot of different varieties. We tend to use an organic potting mix. They include nutrients for the plant, and some of those nutrients, do you know what those are, Wiz Kid?
I sure don't. Can you tell me what they are?
No, those are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They're super important to help plants grow.
What about this? This looks really interesting. So you said this is clay? Why are we using clay?
Well, gosh, we're using clay for a couple reasons. We're going to add water to this seed sphere, and it's going to help absorb that water. It acts like a straw. It's going to suck it up and hold it all together. And the other reason, it provides another nutrient to our plants, which is actually iron. So the clay has a lot of iron in it, and that's kind of what gives them kind of a reddish tint is from that iron. So that's going to help our seeds grow too. Some soils that have way too much clay, unfortunately, can't grow plants because the roots can't spread out and get the things they need. So we want a soil that doesn't have as much clay. Some is good, but too much is not a good thing to put plants in.
And then you said this is a whole bunch of wildflower seeds. What kind of seeds do we have in here? And is it specifically for Colorado, or can this be used anywhere?
Great question, Wiz Kid. Of course, we like to use at CSU Spur native Colorado wildflowers. These plants are super important to our ecosystem here, and they're also going to help bring in pollinators, which are great to grow plants. And of course, we need these things to help grow all the vegetables and things that we eat. So all you really need is a plastic spoon or a general spoon at home. We like to reuse ours because we like to be sustainable here at CSU Spur. You can just rinse them off and reuse them. So we're going to start with that potting mix. Remember, that's our base, and that's going to give the nutrients. Okay, so we're going to do 2 of those nice big heapings. I'm going to do 2 for myself here. We're going to get a nice base going here. Awesome. And then what do we need the clay for again?
The clay is going to suck up the water.
That's right, and give the iron nutrients. So we're only going to use 1 of these. You can see it how it goes on there really nicely. And then we're going to get to add our seeds. Right there's just enough. That's perfect. You're going to put those in there. Awesome.
Here, let me give you some.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much,
Of
Wiz Kid.
course.
All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up with our hands a little bit. Let's mix this together. Nice. This is pretty fun. What does it feel like to you, Wiz Kid?
It feels really powdery and it actually feels really nice between my fingers. But then you can feel all the different things that are inside the potting mix.
Yeah, you feel really, especially that bark I was talking about and some of that dirt. And then the clay really does a nice job of kind of changing it all brown, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all a
Yeah.
different color now.
Yep. So now we're gonna add some water and mix some more. You ready to get some water? If we add too much, don't panic, because
Okay.
we can always do something to help save it.
Okay,
No big
perfect.
deal.
I
So-
will not panic.
That's right. So we're gonna add a little water.
Okay,
Okay, and we're gonna mix that with our hands.
just go in there.
Yep, just go in there. Get
Okay.
yourself nice and, it's gonna be dirty, but it'll be fun. So it looks like it's pretty runny right now. So one of the things you can do if it's runny is add more clay.
Okay.
So go ahead, and if you want to grab the spoon there, you can keep adding clay until it solidifies.
Okay. My hands are dirty now.
That's right.
Is that enough? Do you think I should add more?
See if you'll just know once it kind of balls together. You kind of keep adding until
Oh,
you get
so-
a nice, I'm gonna add a little more.
Okay.
Science is about kind of trial and error.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add a little more to see how that does. It looks like mine's coming together a little bit better, so you might want to add a little more.
Yeah, let me add some more clay because mine's still pretty liquidy.
Yeah, water goes a long way. We do this a lot. We tend to add not enough or too much of one thing, but that's fun. We get to just play in it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So mine's starting to thicken up pretty nicely. I think I'm gonna be done. Once it gets to that point, we're gonna form it into a ball, almost like a cookie ball.
Ooh.
And I know they look really rough right now, but you'll squeeze, and then you're gonna place them, believe it or not, we give kids, so it'll harden up as they go, because they still have water in there. We give them these little containers that are made of paper, and the reason we do that again is because paper can go back to the earth, and this can be composted down when you're done, and it's a great compost device. And I'm just gonna put mine in here and drop it in, just like that. And then someone can take that home.
That is so cool. Do you think this is good enough?
I think that looks pretty good. Nice.
Now, I'm gonna throw it in here because it's spear shaped.
That's right.
Perfect.
Awesome job, Wiz Kid. We did great. Awesome. Well, we're gonna have to take a minute to clean our hands.
Okay, now that we have our hands clean, I have a couple questions to ask you.
Sure, Wiz Kid.
So we have in here our wildflower seed sphere, but what do we do with it? Where do we plant this? Or what can we do to see wildflowers grow?
If you have a backyard that has some soil in it that doesn't have as much clay, we talked about that earlier, we want some good soil. You can have fun with some friends and you can throw this seed sphere out into the soil and then remember where it landed because you're gonna have to water it. So over the next 14 to 20 days, you're gonna have to water this and make sure that it's taken care of. If it's this type of season that's not summer, one of the things that we would like to do is you can put it and transfer it into, as you can see, potting mix. And I could take this ball right here and I could transfer it right into potting mix, and then I could add some water and put it in a window that's south facing so that way it gets some sun. But because in the winter we also don't get as much sunlight, it's gonna limit, so you're gonna probably have to get a grow light to help it grow. But it's a great activity you could do with friends and throw these around your neighborhood, but you just have to make sure you go back and water them. And it's a cool little thing you can do to help the planet.
That is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I hope y'all learned so much about these, and I hope you make a wildflower seed sphere at home one day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important message.
Hey everyone, Wiz Kid from the future. That wildflower seed sphere activity was so cool, but you know what's even cooler? Seeing how much it's grown in the last 30 days. We went ahead and planted one of the wildflower seed spheres into this pot and used a grow light, and look at how much it's thriving. Can you observe all of the different plants growing in here? This is so cool. Now, of course, you can always grow one of your wildflower seed spheres outside in your neighborhood or maybe even your backyard. Pretty neat, huh?
What is the main nutrient found in soil that plants need for growth? A. Nitrogen, B. Phosphorus, C. Potassium, or D. All of the above? The correct answer is D. All of the above. The main nutrients plants need for growth are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. An easy way to remember this is NPK, which are the symbols for the nutrients or elements.
Holy
Holy moly! We sure did learn a whole bunch about plants. Now you can look at different plants and you can identify the different parts of a plant. But not only that, we learned what plants need to grow and survive. So you can take those skills and grow your own plants. So what do you think? Are you gonna grow an herb? Maybe a succulent? Or maybe you could just help out around the house with the plants you already own. And don't forget that extra fun and extra messy activity we got to do making wildflower seed spheres. I cannot wait to see what kind of wildflowers grow. Well, I had so much fun with you today and I can't believe it's already over. See what I did there? Until next time.
Parents, your kid can be a Wiz Kid too. Join the Wiz Kids Kids Club for experiments, activities, and so much more. Can't get enough of Wiz Kid? Follow us on social at CSU Spur Wiz Kid. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe.